3rd of February, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Okay, and here's the rabbi.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Morning, Rabbi Furst.
Good morning. How's everyone today?
Baruch Hashem.
Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Amari.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. So, okay. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. Shivat Samanavshi here in Yerushalayim. Zoom. This is our first year, and we're learning the Pirkei Avos, the third parak, the Maimar of Rabbi Akiva, and I'll put the document on the screen. Good morning, Barry. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. I have to do, got it. Got it. Check.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, let's see, it's still coming up onto the screen, but we can start it in the event.
Should I start reading while you're getting that?
Yeah, we can start. Let's see, I'll tell you where to begin. We were in the Tosos Yom Tov here.
Mipnei Shetziva.
Yeah, this is a continuation of the Rambam, okay, in Hilchos Malachim. He's basically mentioning, actually tell you, we can probably start at in that paragraph, the last 4 words in the second line, after you quote the Rambam, okay?
Umeata ani Tema.
Tema, right. I'm wondering about.
Okay. And now I am wondering, Lama Ze Rechaka Haderech. Why is this distant from the way? Min ha mifarshim of the sages. Velo ratzu lelechet ba. They didn't go in this way.
Right. He's wondering why this pshat seems to be different and far from the let's say the standard explanation.
Okay, so I forgot what it was that we were focusing on. You can't have a logical recognition. You have to do it because of Hashem. When you serve Hashem, you have to serve Hashem because you're serving Hashem, not because you think, oh, this is a good idea. I like these laws.
Right. And that relates back to what Rashi said, that because in explaining Rabbi Akiva, Rashi was explaining Rabbi Akiva meant to say, since we're created B'Tselem Elokim, therefore we have an obligation to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Right. And then there was the underlying question of is that everybody or just Jewish people?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
You can pick up from this point, the third line there. Lo Ratzer Lachas Bal Furst Rabbi Akiva. He did not want to explain The words of Rabbi Akiva.
The words of Rabbi Akiva, She'amar me'amro klape kol adam, that he said his statement in relation to all people, ki im liYisrael, because if it was for Jews bilvad, alone. Wait a second. Key. That he said it for, I'm not following the logic here. He said it for everybody, or he said it for the Jews? What's it saying?
Lo Russell like his father Furst. He didn't want to go to explain the words of Rabbi Akiva. She'amar b'maimer klapi kol adam. He Israel didn't want to go in the way of explaining Rabbi Akiva in this statement that it was speaking about everyone. That rather Rabbi Akiva was only referring to the Jews bilvad.
I see. Okay. Une samchu be maram zal, and there's support by the Mamaram. Atem keroim, you are called Adam Fukule. So this is a quote which said that the Jewish people are referred to as Adam, not everybody.
Right.
V'harei zeh daresh al daresh, and behold, this is a derivation upon a derivation. So that's a criticism.
Right.
Right? Okay. Uvezeh nichnasu bedochak inyan hatzelem, and this introduces a difficulty with the subject of the image. Ubafi hakasuv shahavi.
That's ubeperish hakasav, and the explanation of the pasuk.
Ubeperish hakasav shahavi leroy.
The raya, bring as a raya, and the explanation of the pasuk is brought as a proof.
Is brought as a proof. Oh, raya. Okay, proof. Aval be'enei zu ha derech selula umirevachas. So, but the matter of in this matter.
No, this is be'enai, in my eyes. Aval, in my eyes. Be'enai, in my eyes, meaning in my opinion.
In my eyes, this path is a path. What is solula?
Okay, in my eyes, Zuha Derek, this is the way. I mean, this is the explanation. Derek Salula Umarvachas. The Derek which is clear and broad.
And broad.
The Marvachas is like from the word prophet, right? Ravach. Ravach also means space or having space or
Right, Ravach, right.
being
Ki ba Rabbi Akiva, because Rabbi Akiva comes le haishir lechol boi olam. What is le haishir?
it's from the same word as I think to direct.
Okay, so he comes to direct to everybody in the world.
Right. I mean, it's not speaking exclusively to the Jews. At least the first statement's not.
Kasher nitz tavinu mipi ha Meira.
Mipi Rav, that's the Rav Avad Kasher Tzitzivanu Mipi Rav Bartanura. That's the Rav Bartanura,
Ah,
the Rambam.
so it's coming to. I'm sorry. This command is this the from the mouth of Rab Bartanura? Is in accordance with Rab Bartanura.
Right.
Kedivrei Rambam, and like the words of the Rambam. Ve'im b'chafais charav harag, and what is this word? Kefais?
Kefis is coercion.
And if there is conversion,
Coercion. That's he's going back to the Rambam. Remember, we read the Rambam that Moshe Rabbeinu is obligated to coerce everyone to accept the Zion Mitzvahs B'nai Noah.
oh, right. So if there is conversion,
Coercion. It's coercion. Kefis is
coercion. Then he has to fight.
No, meaning if there's coercion, hereg, by the death of the sword, Avdam and destruction, it's divine. If that's what we're commanded in. Meaning if we're commanded to coerce all the non-Jews to fulfill the Zion Mitzvahs B'nai Noach by death by the sword and destruction, Kol Shekain, even more so.
Kol Shekain, even more so, the kafis with a coercion.
Kafis
Devarim, the conversion of words, a coercion of it with words.
Coercion by force of words. Meaning, if we're supposed to, if we're commanded, according to the Rambam, to by death by sword and destruction to convince all the goyim to keep their b'nai seven mitzvahs of Noach, certainly we're supposed to do it in terms of less drastic measures. We're obligated to talk to them about it.
Right. That's a kol v'chomer.
Right.
להמשיך ליבם על רצון קונם. To direct their hearts towards the will of Hashem.
Right, exactly. We're if we're, according to the Rambam, if we're commanded to use the sword to convince them to do the will of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kol v'chomer, we're supposed to try and do it in more peaceful ways, and to draw their hearts, to interest their hearts in fulfilling the will of their Creator.
The chafetz rotzam, and the desire of, tzoram. What's tzoram?
That's their will, to chafetz rotzam, to have them be interested willingly.
Yiz karam litova.
Right, and this is going to be something which is going to be to their eventual merit, to their eventual good. This is going to benefit them.
Okay, it'll be to their benefit. Ushehem chavivim shenivrao b'tzelem leho ros nasan bilvad, and that they will rejoice.
Shem chavivim, they are chavivim, they are cherished. Shenivru b'tzelem, they are cherished because they've been created b'tzelem. Lahoros nasan belibam, to guide them, the ros, to guide them to what's been put into their hearts, to guide them to have them seek what's been put into their hearts. The fact that they've been created b'tzelem Elokim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has put this innate nature and knowledge into their hearts.
Okay, so it's saying that we don't want to interpret the Rebbe Akiva as saying that he's only talking about Jews.
Right.
And the fallout from this is that we have an obligation not only to coerce the non-Jews through violence, but to coerce them through non-violence.
Right. Good. That's right. Even more so by non-violence. If we're obligated to use force if necessary, if we can do it in a more civil way, that's obviously much better. Also better for us.
All right, weiter.
Yeah.
Ki ze Toras ha'adam la'asos chukei Elokim. That this is the teaching of people to do the laws of God.
Yeah, right. Torah's Adam lasos chukei Elokim. This is the Torah's Adam is like also like the not just, it's like the purpose of people, the purpose of humanity.
It's interesting that he uses the word chok instead of mishpat, because I thought the chukim were specifically for the Jews?
Well, no, even if, well, let's see. I have to see what, let's follow his explanation. Hold on.
Umishpat tav mitzad asher hu tziva ke divrei harambam. And the laws from the perspective that he commanded, like the words of the Rambam.
Right, that he has a obligation, right, as the Rambam explained, to keep those huki Elokim, those hukim of the statutes of God, and also his statutes, his laws.
Okay, so that's okay. So it says laws and statutes.
Right, both. Right, correct.
Okay. Ho'il shecha vavo levar o betalmo. That perhaps that his heart levar, oh, I don't know.
No, said the like the words of the Rambam, the hoyel shechavavoy livroi b'tzelmo, because Adam is cherished, that he was livoro b'tzelmo. He was created b'tzelmo. He was created b'tzelmo. And again, we're gonna have to spend time next week discussing what this whole concept of b'tzelem is. We'll discuss that more next week.
Right. What is ho'il? Ho'il is perhaps,
Or since the whole
since he is cherished in that he's created by in the image.
right. The fact that his Baruch Hu cherished man, he was created specially. He was created in a special way. He was created b'tzelmo. Meaning like if you have, you used to see get, on your if you're going to turn your tie to the back side of the tie, you see there's a little tag on the inside of the small end of the tie. It says, handmade in China, right? Handmade, right?
I think I remember what those ties are like.
Yeah. I don't know if they make them anymore. I don't know if people use their hands anymore. But, unless they just push the button to the computer console. But in any event, so Adam was created in a special way. He was created in a so to speak, in a more handmade fashion than anything else in the universe. And that shows how Hashem appreciates him and is cherished. Adam is cherished more than anything else.
Can I ask related to this subject about man and his special relationship with Hashem? We're the only, I think we're the only creature that has to provide for his food. Everybody else gets it for free, so to speak. The birds, everybody just lands on a branch and eats a berry,
right,
etc. And the frog gets a fly on the water, but we have to struggle.
Right.
So that shows our special relationship. Hashem wants something from us.
Right.
For that, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh,
It's not I'm not saying it's a burden that he gave us this malacha, I'm sure it's for our benefit, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. What does he want? What does Hashem want?
Oh, so the Sefer Chavos Levavos answers your question, but first that was all after the Chet of Adam Rishon, right? Meaning,
Yeah, yeah.
Adam Rishon, he was only obligated. The pasuk says l'shamla or la'avda. Nesagan. He was supposed to guard and work the gun, whatever that was supposed to mean exactly. That was Hashem wanted Adam to take care of that, and he would have had food provided for him without any difficulty after he did the chet. So it was necessary that he works for his own food. And the Chavos Levavos in Sharbat Tochen, he explains that there are two ways that Kadosh Baruch Hu wants Adam to be able to fend for his own food and not be like the rest of the animals. And it's both of them are to his own advantage. That
Right.
Hashem wants to see if a person's going to serve him, and is he since he has to go out and work, so he has to do all kinds of things to do work. He has to, if he wants to be a shoeman, so he's going to have to get the leather. So he's going to have to make sure to get the leather in a kosher way, and he's going to have to get tools to work the leather in a kosher way. You're not supposed to steal this. If a person would just, the fly, a moth goes by, sticks out his tongue and captures a moth. So there's not much of a test in terms of whether he's going to be serving Kadosh Baruch in all kinds of different ways. But when a person's involved with all kinds of different ways of making a living, right, you have to keep Shemitah, you have to keep Shabbos now. You can't work on Shabbos. Like, if we didn't have to work for our food, so nothing wrong on Shabbos. Maybe just sticking out your tongue and letting a nice butterfly land on your tongue and you just gobble it up on Shabbos.
Mhm. You're making me hungry.
What do you like, viceroys, or you like?
It seems, Rabbi, that there's another aspect of this idea of the being expelled from Gan Eden, in that the fact that it's more than just that they have their food. They have everything. Animals are geared to survive. They can withstand the cold and the rain, and they can sleep, out in the wild, and somehow they get sick and die. If you take a dog and you put him in the middle of the wilderness, he'll be fine. But if you take a human and put him in the middle of the wilderness, he'll die. In order to survive, we need to work together and cooperate with each other. We need a society so that we can provide for ourselves and protect ourselves from the environment, which will kill us, but it won't kill the animals. So it seems to me that that's the message that Hashem is giving us by having set it up this way, that we need to work together. Human beings need to work together and cooperate and have societies and have laws and all of those 7 Noahide principles.
That's also part of that. That probably
Yeah, but we don't need the.
That probably would have existed even without the Chet of Adam Rishon, meaning people obviously
Right.
People obviously, Hashem commanded Adam and Chava Pirivi. He wanted the world to be populated, right? So he obviously wanted people to work together and to coexist properly and productively. So that's definitely part of.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what do you want to say, Barry?
No, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with Lou says. Society is not the end result. He didn't, we're not all supposed to get together just to have a society to help each other make shoes. We're supposed to, there's something Hashem wants from us as a society. The same thing as he wants from each individual. There's something more than just Netflix or whatever. We have Francisco Bridge, but that's not what he wants. He wants some kind of recognition. I don't know what exactly what the word is. This is what I'm waiting to for what we're learning to explain. Hashem wants something from us more than the animals. He wants us to dig in the earth and sweat and to get an ear of corn. To what purpose? What does he want?
Right. So let's go slowly. So the first thing Chavos Levavos explains is that Hashem's by the fact that we have to work for our sustenance, that's a way of testing people if they're going to be following they're not going to steal, they're not going to lie, right? And that's one. Another thing is that Hashem has Rahmanas on us, and he knows that if we have too much free time, we're going to get ourselves into trouble, right? So he wants us to be busy making a living, and therefore, as a Rahmanas, as a compassionate act, Kadosh Baruch Hu had decreed on Adam and humanity that they have to work for their living. Since animals, I mean, I don't know. I haven't studied animals very much at all, but animals don't usually get themselves into trouble, right? An animal, if it's hungry, it's going to look for food. When it's tired, it's going to go to sleep, and that's about all it's going to do, right? You see, we had in Parshas Mishpatim, most cows, oxen, for example, aren't oxen which gore. But if you happen to have an ox that gores, you get yourself into trouble if you own such an animal like that, and an animal starts making trouble. So eventually you have to eliminate it. But most animals are not like that. You have animals which are destructive if they're out of their environment. But normally, if they're in their environment, they're not going to be necessarily destructive. They don't go around destroying things, right? But you leave people with too much extra time. I don't have to tell you. Go down to King George Street here in Yerushalayim, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, and see what's going on with the youth of Yerushalayim. That they have, obviously have too much free time. If they were working in the coal mines, they wouldn't be on the streets at 2 o'clock in the morning. They'd have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work in the coal mines. Made a big mistake in society when they outlawed child labor. Kept the kids off the streets. They had kept them in bed when they were supposed to sleep, and at work when they're not supposed to be sleeping. So society took a downturn when they outlawed child labor.
Too much free time.
Yeah, exactly. Even adults, look at adults when they have too much free time, all they do is get into trouble. You look at the police statistics. The biggest times for crimes and all kinds of accidents are the weekends and the holiday weekends. That's why a non-Jew is not supposed to keep Shabbos. Hashem wants them busy day and night, 24/7.
So that answers my question, is that the fact that we have to struggle more than the animals is Hashem's trying to benefit us.
Exactly.
It's not a punishment, is what I'm trying to say.
No,
it's not. That's what I'm getting from what Rebbe just said. It's not a punishment to have to work hard and make a living.
Right. But that's what the Chavos Levavos says. But he says, if a person's going to be keeping occupied, busy learning Torah, teaching Torah, so Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to take away the necessity for him to have to work overly difficult in overly difficult situations. Because why? Because this person, he's interested in serving a Kadosh Baruch Hu, who is not interested in doing things wrong, right? So Hashem will give him what he needs in order to survive, and she won't have to work extra overly hard. And I don't have to tell you, you probably know people yourselves that they have, I tell you, I was out to Philadelphia, and they walked Barry in Philadelphia. I was once staying in Philadelphia.
Oy vey, nebbich.
Sorry to hear that, Rabbi.
Yeah. And what happened?
So I
Nothing.
stayed by a very nice couple. They had one of these, these old colonial houses that they have there. You've probably seen a bunch of
Sure.
them there in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they were both.
You were in
lawyers.
Center City. You were Center City, probably.
I'm not sure where. I
Here
forgot
it is.
where. Well, I forgot the
Yeah.
neighborhood already. It's been a while yet already. So they were both lawyers, and they were with good successful careers. And they were telling me that the heating in the house costs so much. They can't heat the house in the wintertime. Costs too much to heat the house. So you have these two people, educated people, working hard in their careers, and they can't take care of their basic needs, right? So the whole point being is that many people, you probably know yourself, they have 1, 2 jobs, 2.5 jobs, right? Just to make ends meet, because
Right.
if apparently, according to Chavos Lavav, if they would have too much extra time, so they would just get themselves in trouble, because you see, there are too many different. The more that society and culture progresses, the more trouble you can get yourself into.
Right.
You go back a couple 100 years, there weren't too many things, and the trouble you can get to is the trouble that you got in yourself into 200 years ago is not really much different than the trouble you can get yourself into these days, except you have many more opportunities to get yourself into trouble these days than then.
Rabbi, if having to work for a living is not a punishment, why does the Torah say, "Cursed will be the land for your sake; by the sweat of your brow you will earn your bread"?
Right. So all those were closed because that wasn't the way it was supposed to be. Adam was supposed, before he ate the Eitz Hadas, he was given the God-given mechanisms that could keep himself out of trouble. But now that he got involved with the Eitz Hadas, and that's how the Alter from the Vardik in Madregas Adam, in the Sefer Madregas Adam, explains Adam Arishon. I've mentioned this before several times. Adam Arishon, before eating the Eitz Hadas, he understood clearly what's true and what's false, right? He understood so clearly what's true and false. He could look at a cow and call it a parah. He gave a name, parah, to a parah. Looked at a dog, he called the dog a dog, right? Because he understood clearly what the essence of the essential truth of what the thing was, right?
Right.
He did that in such a great way that even the Malachim couldn't do that. Even the Malachim, who are basically super intelligent, they couldn't do what Adam Arishon did. He had a clear understanding of truth and falsehood, emes and sheker. And he was told by Kadosh Baruch Hu, don't eat from the Eitz Hadas toiv v'ra, the knowledge of good and bad, which was basically symbolically telling Adam Arishon, don't mix in to what's true and false, what's good and bad. Because once you start mixing in what's good and bad into what's true and false, you can turn the falsehood into something which is good, and you can throw the truth into something which is bad. And that's what happened when he went and violated that command. Now he's got himself mixed up between what's true and false, because he's making value judgments as to what's true and false, biased, but what he thinks is good and bad. So
And he doesn't have the tools to do it properly now.
And that's why now we have to have a Torah. The Torah has to tell you what is
Right,
good and what is bad, right? That's what
Right,
the
'cause
Torah is
we-
coming to teach us. The Torah is coming to compensate for that, right? Without the Torah, you're left with humanity in a situation of Adam Rishon after the chet of eating from the Eitz Hadas, Tov L'Ra, and being in a situation where they have no way of accurately understanding what's true and false, because they're always biased by what they think is good and bad.
so when we're given, when we're given this need to provide for our food, and it's still, I still hold it's not a punishment, because that's what Hashem wants us to do, to work our way back to Gan Eden, so to speak.
Right.
Right? We're supposed to use the Torah as a map to get back to that original state.
Exactly. That's what the Torah is designed to do.
Right. So
And
it's
the-
not a punishment. Hashem doesn't punish us in that terms. He wants us to improve.
Right. It would have been better if we hadn't done it, but now that we're in a situation which is called b'diavad, right? We're not the ideal situation, the ideal situation that Hashem created us to live in is no longer existent anymore. So we have to live in the situation which is b'diavad.
Right. Now, but one question about Adam Rishon giving names.
Yeah.
He also gave names to. He also gave a name to his wife. Right.
Right.
He named her. Right. Which
right.
meant he understood her.
Exactly. Exactly. But
So he knew he knew what was coming, so
Well,
to speak.
well,
Right.
well, let's put it this way. Rav Scheinberg, Zechrono Livracha, he would always talk about this.
Yeah.
If you take a look, when did Adam Rishon give Chava her name? He gave her name after the chet. He gave her name
Oh, after the chet. Aye.
after that. And
Ah.
what does Chava mean? Right? It means, the pasuk says Aim Kol Chai. Aim Kol, the mother of all life.
Right.
Right. So the Rav Steinberg would ask the question, what do you mean after the chet, after Kadosh Baruch Hu was Goyz and Misa in the world, she shouldn't be called Aim Kol Chai, she should be called Aim Kol Misa, the mother of all death.
Aim Kol Sheker.
Well, Sheker, if you want to, so Sheker, if you introduce that in also.
Just
Right.
saying. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Sheker, death is also a Sheker, and if you understand what I mean, but we'll go into that
Right.
another time.
Yeah. That's another case. Yeah.
That's something we're not going to go into that now. But because her true purpose was even after the chet, now that there was Misa, right?
Mhm.
Now she is Aim Kol Chai. Her purpose now is to bring life into the world. And even though that
Right.
through her participation, she was instrumental in bringing death into the world, but now her purpose, her essence is now to bring life into the world.
To correct what she did, so to speak, the damage she did.
Yeah, that's also important. Yeah.
Don't repeat this to your wives, gentlemen.
So I'm wondering, Rabbi, about this word arur.
Yeah.
If we're going to say here that it's not a punishment, what does the word arur mean? It's translated as curse.
Right. So
And Rashi even says furthermore that it brings up accursed things such as flies, fleas, ants. So it seems to be, according to Rashi, saying that it's a bad thing. It's a punishment.
Well-
How do we understand the word arur?
it means corrupted. It's now been corrupted, right? Meaning because of you, the land, the Aretz has been corrupted, and everything because of your act, everything's been corrupted now.
Arur means it's weakened. We're in a weakened state.
Yeah, you could look up in Rav Furst,
Yeah,
Barry.
it says it means isolated. Aurora means isolated, where the spotlight is on us,
Mhm.
so to speak.
So we say Arur Haman.
Right,
Yeah,
Cursed is Haman.
he should be weakened.
right. He should be, see, the act of cursing, what's the act of cursing? I mean, we have to understand, understand the opposite. What's the act of blessing?
Hmm.
That, you have there's a certain corruption that is now taking place.
Right.
That, meaning it's something which is corrupted, it's spoiled, it's now tainted.
Yeah,
Right.
tainted. Oh, okay. Right.
Tainted is a little bit of a weak, a little bit too weak of a word, right? But it's been changed. It's been changed to the worst. It's been made worse. It's they've been degraded. Yeah, degraded. Instead of being upgraded, it's been degraded. And all right, but that's a good question. What does it mean, or Haman? We'll think about that. By the time we get to Purim, maybe we'll have an idea what does it mean, or Haman. What do we mean when we say those? After all, he's dead right now anyway, right? So why are we cursing a dead man?
We're saying cursed is his memory,
Yeah, we're
right? Kohen?
we're cursing what he wanted to do to us.
Yeah,
That's
and
we're
what he
cursing.
represents.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be. All right. Well, like we have 6 weeks or so to exactly.
We're gonna need it.
I see Lou's not happy with the definition yet.
Well, I'm just looking, I opened up the Chumash and I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the pasuk here. It says, accursed is the ground because of you, through suffering you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles shall it sprout for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. By the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread until you return to the ground from which you were taken. I mean, it sounds like a punishment to me.
Well, no.
No.
It's a consequence. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is not punished. First of all, maybe we have to understand what do you mean by punishment?
It's an opportunity.
That's
We're commanded
An
to
opportunity.
reward and
Hashem's given-
punishment. So
Right.
what does that
It's an
mean? I mean,
Right.
we have cause and effect operating in the world.
Right.
If I put the jelly jar on the edge of the counter and it gets knocked off and falls on the ground and makes a big mess, is that a punishment because I was negligent, or is that just a consequence?
Right. I mean, when you
Complex issue.
Right. When you put honey into your instead of motor oil into your oil tank in your car, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So after a half a mile, it's the car's going to stop running and overheat, and who knows what else it's going to do.
Right.
Obviously it's a consequence. Obviously it's a consequence. But do you consider that to be a punishment? So
It's a consequence to a purpose for us to improve. Right? It's a message from Hashem to get, straighten this out. It's an opportunity.
So is that a punishment?
No, it's not a punishment. Hashem doesn't Hashem doesn't punish it. Hashem, we
Is
cause
Hashem
our
involved
own
in
growth.
that?
We cause our own problems.
I don't know. Roy, what do you have any comments, Roy?
Stop it.
No, not at the moment. Oops, it's a lively conversation, so I'm just following that. Yeah,
All right. Okay, like I say, Lou, let's hold on to these questions. As we say, we can focus these questions on what we're going to be saying in 6 weeks or so when the forum comes around.
I'll be too drunk to remember, Rebbe.
Well,
I have to write it down now. I'm going to send myself a message.
okay.
I'll
very
put it
good.
on delay.
There you go. You
Right.
send it
So-
yourself in 6 weeks. You can send it.
Right.
Plan to send email in 6 weeks. Those are the
Yeah.
steps.
But I'm going to copy Rebbe.
well,
Yeah. Send me a copy of the email too. Yeah, for sure.
You're right. So if you want to come and check me out, you have to look under the table.
I know some people you have to check them on top of the table sometimes.
you can have you can have a punishment as a consequence.
Definitely so. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
You
Definitely.
can have them
so.
both at once.
Hashem
Yeah,
doesn't
both at
punish
once.
us.
Mhm.
He doesn't punish us. It's a punishment is a finality. He's giving us an opportunity to improve,
Uh-huh.
to get better.
Uh-huh.
If someone gets hanged by the neck, okay, that's you can call it, it's over, done. It can't get better. But Hashem doesn't do that to us. He doesn't kill us. If we deserve to be killed away in a minute, right?
He makes it. All
But,
right.
but we deserve that. But Hashem doesn't do it because He wants us to get better.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Stop interrupting, Roy, please. We can't get a
Maybe.
word in edgewise.
Yes, I understand how it feels. All right. Sorry I came in late. I had to reboot the computer and whatever.
All
Oh.
right. Well, you're with us now. I hope to see if you like tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem, 9:30. Tomorrow is Yom Khamishi already.
Oh,
so
right.
so tomorrow, 9:30, we'll speak about the Parsha Mitzvah Shem. And we'll start the next year in a few minutes. So take a short break and we'll be back, Mitzvah Shem.